What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of What Are You Scared of Something? My name's Sam, my co-host.
I am Brendan.
He is Brendan, yes. So today's video, we will be reviewing the movie Smile.
Smile.
Smile is the movie that we are reviewing. What are you throwing?
Garbage on the table.
There's garbage on the table. He wants it clean. I got my Dracula mug. That's nice, a little ASMR.
That is very nice.
Brendan, tell us a little bit about Smile before we go into it.
So Smile is a movie about what is she, a psychiatrist, a psychologist, something in mental health.
Oh, yeah.
And she is just, doing her duties and trying to help out anybody who's got some mental health issues. And she unfortunately comes upon one of her patients happens to be seeing something. What is she seeing? Someone smiling at her. Ooh, that's the name of the movie.
It is. That's the title.
And
usually when people smile, it's like, oh, that's nice.
Oh, that is nice.
He's
but
smiling at me.
But this is like a very sinister smile, you know?
It's a horror movie.
Because it's a horror movie. And this, I'm not going to lie, this movie, I thought was going to be just like some regular jump scare type of deal. Oh. I'm not going to lie, there are a lot of jump scares, which I'm not really a fan of, because the whole time I'm just like, just do it already.
Come on.
Just jump out. But other than that, there was some really creepy stuff going on in this movie, and I feel bad for her. You know, she's just trying to do her job, and
she goes through some stuff. So this movie, Smile, is another 2022 movie. Barbarian and X also came out in 2022. So we're doing some recent films. This is more, I guess like a psychological horror / thriller type deal. Written and directed by Parker Finn, starring Sosie Bacon. She plays Rose, our main character. Her husband, Jesse T. Usher. Kyle Gallner, which is her ex-boyfriend, we'll get into a little bit later. So yeah, let's get into it. So Smile starts out with, before that, I liked the marketing that they did for the Smile campaign.
Especially a lot of sporting events. They had some of you were saying it was some of the actors and actresses that were actually in the movie, sitting behind home plate. I saw that one the most, where they'd be sitting behind home plate and just, and they would just be smiling like this and, just sitting there for, I don't even know how many innings or something. Maybe the whole game? I
wouldn't even know. Yeah, they probably stayed the whole game.
Yeah.
So that was like a marketing campaign, and it definitely worked. I don't know if people ended up going to see it. It probably scared some people off. So baseball fans are just trying to watch well, I mean, if you didn't know that it was a marketing campaign for the movie, you'd be like, well, this person is... You got something going on.
Yeah, well, I mean, imagine you bring your kid to his first game or something. And
Daddy, that woman's smiling.
What the heck's
She's
wrong with
still
her?
Smiling, Daddy. It's 6 innings later.
Oh my God.
Goodness. So this movie starts off with a little girl going into a room and finding her mother. We presume it's her mother or this lady. It's probably her mother. Just lying there. And we presume she's dead. And
there's some kind of liquid on the bed as well. I don't know what it is. Maybe it was just she just spit up a lot of stuff, threw up. I think there might have been throw up on like streaks or something. I don't know.
A lot of bodily fluids on that bed. So this poor girl walks in and finds her mother dead. And we later find out that this is Rose as a child finding her mother. And then it goes to another scene, obviously in the future, to Rose's place of work. And we find this guy who looks pretty disheveled. He's talking to himself
constantly.
Mm-hmm. And
what was he saying? He was just like repeating.
He was saying like I don't know, just some nihilist.
Yeah. It was. It was crazy. Yeah. Exactly. 100%. We're all gonna die. We're all screwed. We're all gonna die. Yeah.
And immediately when I saw him, I'm like, anything that involves psychological, not well-being of a person, or maybe some sort of schizophrenia, something that messes with your head, immediately freaks me out. We're 5 minutes into the movie.
Yeah, I hate that kind of stuff. I don't know. I always see it and I'm like, damn, like, how easy is it to get to that point? That always just freaks me out.
Oh yeah. I mean, there are theories of movies that, if somebody is, mentally disturbed, and it's some sort of psychological thriller or horror, you can make the point that none of the movie actually happened.
Yeah, we see that a lot in A24 movies, especially. You never know. Because, just like movies like Hereditary, it could run in the family, as you find out. Midsummer, they take mushrooms, and sometimes mushrooms you could get into a psychosis type state, or something along those lines where you just make up everything. So you never know.
And I definitely noticed that horror movies nowadays, they really focus in on the score. The music and the sounds that they use are just as scary as, maybe that's a way to like counteract the not using as many jump scares, is to just bring in this crazy ass music that just unsettles you so much.
Well, that's what kind of happened. Do you remember when the title came in? I don't know. I remember exactly when the title came in, but that was like weird. That reminded me of what was not The Conjuring, but
Insidious?
Yeah, Insidious. Do you remember that title? When that title comes in?
Like some violin.
Oh, they're just going nuts, and they're so loud. And I remember I saw that in theaters. I was like, "Oh my god, just make it stop! Make it stop! Get out of here!" Oh my god.
John Williams goes to town. He would do great on a horror film.
Yeah.
So yeah,
sure.
I might have been the title. I don't know, but I wrote down I like the music, and it like crescendos and then immediately stops.
Yeah.
It's like classic horror.
And then the title was in bright red. They do that in Insidious, and it was like flashing. It was like so weird. It was weird. I liked it though.
It's very creative for sure. There was an interesting slant camera angle of the girl, and the vibes are creepy right off the bat. Remember, like the angle?
Yeah.
And it's kind of like we were watching Haunting of the Hill House the other day. The crooked. What did you give?
Oh, the bent neck lady. I don't want to see no bent neck lady.
Oh man, it's a band name, Bent Neck Lady. So yeah, we're now in the I guess Rose's place of work, but we're in a room where she probably has appointments and meetings with her patients. The walls are blue, her shirt is blue. I don't know why it gives off a calm feeling, but also it's like kind of unsettling because you're like, something's gonna happen.
Yeah, it gave off the doctor office vibes, which I feel like it's weird. Whenever I've noticed like those, just like a doctor's office, like they try to make it so calming, but you know why you're there. You're there for a bad reason. So no matter what they do, how organized it looks, it always has like an ominous kind of like feel to it. I don't know.
Right.
You're going there for a bad reason, or hopefully just a checkup. But in this case, it's you have some psychological issues. So
I'd say so. And only as a kid, maybe it'll work if it's like, you want a lollipop?
Yeah, exactly.
Sure, you can distract me. Not as an adult. I found it so. I mean, these are in so many books that I read or horror movies that we watch. So a patient comes in and tries to explain to Rose what she's going through, and she is distraught, disheveled. She looks like she hasn't got a lick of sleep.
Yeah.
And I was just thinking, like, it is the worst to try to explain to somebody, because you always put yourself in the character's shoes in the book or in the movie, where you know that what's happening to them is real, or sort of say, and they're trying to explain it, and they're like, well, I mean, you might just be having like.
Oh yeah.
Or
that was Haunting of Hill House too. When we were
yeah. This is the reason why this is going on.
Yeah.
And it's so scary to try to explain
to
calm people.
Yeah.
What you're seeing or feeling. Yeah.
Because you just feel so much more isolated. Like you can't get somebody to be on your side and agree with you, because it's like your own mind too. Like it's not as simple as just being like, I'm seeing these people smiling, and like someone could just like agree with you, like, oh yeah, I've seen that too, because that would be reassuring, right. Kinda, not really, but like it'd still be creepy, but like it'd be like, oh okay, I'm not the only one.
And it's not like these people that see it are like talking to each other. Oh, you saw that too? They're
yeah.
Insane.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that is just so unsettling trying to explain. And Rose just like, maybe it's this, maybe it's that. And then all of a sudden, the girl flips out.
Oh, yeah.
She just goes insane. I wrote down flannel girl. I don't know
flannel girl. She had a flannel on.
She did, but it's like it's also like, here's this poor girl. She's probably early 20s. I don't know, maybe.
Yeah, I feel like she even said something about college or something. So
right.
We could assume she might even be 18 to 22-ish, maybe,
Right. And the flannel is just like, she looks innocent, but her face just says it all. She looks tired, and she starts freaking out. And there's so many emotions that's going on with her. Like I said before, it's very frustrating for her to try to get her point across. So she just goes insane. And then all of a sudden she like stops and, well, oh no, Rose goes to the phone.
Rose goes to call for backup because she's like, my patient's freaking out. And then, all of a sudden, like the screaming from the girl just stops. And, Rose is faced away from her on the phone, so she can't see her.
Wall,
yeah. And it's a bright red phone for backup, you know. So the screaming stops, and of course, Rose turns around ever so slowly for dramatic effect. And we're like, oh, what's gonna happen? And of course, this girl's just standing there smiling. It's the name of the movie.
It's the name of the movie. She's like, you want to get some pizza? No. Does she attack her?
No, she has like a thing in her hand. Where did she get that from? Did she break a vase or vase? Vase? How do we say it? Vase?
Basinger?
Basinger.
Basinger? No, it was a glass from something. I don't know if it was a vase.
Maybe when she got on the floor to scream. She got on the floor to scream.
I don't know, but you saw Rose look back, and the first thing she looks at is whatever it is. Maybe it was a clock. I don't know, but there's a missing piece to it.
Yeah,
and she's like, and then you as an audience are like, "Where's the glass?" Smiling girl's got it, and
you do kind of think like, "Oh shit, Rose is in for it. She's about to get attacked," but instead, the girl just takes it and just.
Yeah, so trigger warning on that one.
Yeah.
Very disturbing scene.
Gruesome.
Very gruesome, gory. You know, if you look back at me, I was doing one of these.
And of course she's
over the eye.
She's smiling the whole time.
Yeah, that's the most unsettling part for sure.
and then she's still smiling, and then she just collapses to the ground.
Yep. And yeah, she's gone. So this is when the title comes in.
Okay, yes.
I wrote, cool title graphics. So that happens. So a lot of fun for Rose to witness that.
Very traumatic experience.
Very traumatic. Not many people experience that in life.
Because I'm sure she's used to like patients freaking out and screaming and and like all these different things, and she can call backup and then they just sedate the patient. But this time, yeah. But then this time the patient just kills herself right in front of her. And of course, for Rose, she keeps pointing out that why she was smiling at me. Why was she smiling at me? Mm-hmm. She should have been not happy that she was dying, but she's smiling.
People aren't smiling. So, the next scene is Rose. Now she looks disheveled. Obviously she just had a traumatic experience that she'll probably never forget. So she's being interviewed by police officers, I guess.
Yep.
And it's similar to Rose was just with a patient trying to explain something crazy that's happening.
Oh, that's a good point.
Now Rose is talking to two detectives who are similar to Barbarian, where we talked about the theme of men and women, where this one it's like these two guys, and I don't know, throughout history, mental health is not too keen in the male society, I guess. And they're just like, all right, yeah, well, she was probably this, she was probably that, blah blah blah. And Rose is like, she was smiling and slit her throat.
Yeah.
Like, what's going on here? You gotta believe me. I don't know what was going on with her. And they're just taking a very tactical police interview approach.
And that's kind of a good point, because Rose just got done doing that with the girl and the flannel girl. And now all of a sudden it's just totally flipped. Like the doctor has become the patient now, and that's a good point. That's crazy.
Yeah, I said they're typical skeptics that don't really understand anything about psychology.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. And then there's another cool thing with the camera where it's like a twist and upside down camera shot.
Yep.
And you said it looked like Stephen King or Midsummer.
Yeah, they do that in Midsummer, like when they're driving on the way to the weird camp where everyone hangs out at. I guess it gives the viewer like a disoriented feeling, and like also just a feeling of underlying doom.
Well, wasn't it an aerial shot of a car? And you said The Shining.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh yeah. And
yeah.
Jack and his family are going to the Overlook Hotel. I wrote, alcohol consumption seems to be the centerpiece for dealing with traumatic experiences in these horror movies.
Yeah.
Just because it's like, do you hear that?
Yeah.
Another noise.
The place we film at, yeah, Caffeine Academy, might be haunted. I don't know. There's always weird sounds coming around here.
Yep. So, yeah, very fitting.
Sam had an interesting experience at the bathroom.
Should I talk about it?
Just give him a quick synopsis of what happened.
I was in the bathroom, and I heard like on the bathroom door, and I was like, haha, funny, Brendan.
I'm a jokester.
Yeah, so funny. And I laughed because I was like singing a song, and I went, and then dry my hands, open the door, and Brendan's all the way at the end of the other room, and I'm like, he's fast. And I was like, oh, you're real funny. He's like, what are you talking about? And then the classic, yeah, it wasn't me. So, don't know what it was.
And it wasn't. It certainly wasn't me.
Yeah. He would tell me eventually, I hope.
Yeah, it was not me.
We got a little coffee cake here. So, yeah, alcohol, centerpiece for dealing.
Yep.
So Rose just comes home and takes, I don't even know, wine or whatever alcohol she could find and just downs it.
Yep.
She's like, I got to calm down somehow.
Well, as we all know, alcohol is a depressant. It's a quick, it's almost like a quick, cheaper Xanax. You know, it's just going to bring you right down. So, and it's an easy way to get addicted, of course, you know, as we all know. Easy to get addicted to, you know, not dealing with your traumas, which is one of the big themes in this movie, of course.
For sure. So, I just wrote, it's interesting that it's like, I wouldn't say it's like acceptable, but they kind of show that it's like this is how people deal with trauma.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a helpful way, quote unquote. When, like we were just saying, it makes things worse.
Oh, yeah. In the long run, of course, it's going to make it worse.
You know, it's hard to be like, no, I can't drink this because I'll feel bad later. It's like, this girl just slit her throat.
Yeah.
I got to do something. So you can't blame Rose at all. So now Rose starts to see smiling people. And you're like, fantastic. So now she's easily startled by everything. She gets startled when her husband comes home. She tells him that a patient died. But she doesn't really tell him what happened.
Yeah. And she's also kind of like trying to like self-diagnose herself because she knows everything there is to know about, you know, the brain and stuff. So she's like, well, maybe it's this, maybe it's that, but she doesn't.
Who knows what she's thinking at this point?
Yeah.
It's either zero thoughts or a million thoughts.
Yeah.
But I kind of understand why she didn't tell him. It's just like, hey, honey, this is what happened at work today. I mean, people tend to like shove those things down, especially when she's drinking alcohol.
Yeah.
It symbolizes just like forgetting about what happened.
It's crazy though. Like if that happened to me, I would tell everyone. Like I wouldn't be able to help myself to keep it in. Like I would have to say something. Like, oh my God.
Yep.
Otherwise, it's just gonna fester inside me, and I'm just gonna feel all alone and isolated that I haven't told anybody.
And you're just gonna be sitting there, thinking and thinking and thinking. So yeah.
Didn't I do that in the last one?
Maybe. I don't know. Rose and her husband go out with this, like, sort of couple. And I think it's Rose's sister, right? They go out to dinner.
Yeah, it's Rose's sister and her husband.
And I wrote, I thought they were in California, but they end up being in New York?
Jersey. New Jersey. I remember the plates were all of Jersey.
Look at that memory. So, I don't know. I guess just like a typical, like, millennial type people. And her sister, I think it was, or cousin or whatever, or friend. She's horrible.
Yeah,
She's super annoying.
What was she? Oh, she was pressing Rose about like her daughter's birthday, right?
Something.
Right?
Yeah.
And she kept saying like, I told you, didn't you remember? Just very materialistic type people, I feel like too, right? Do you get that vibe from them? I know, right, dude? My breath is so bad, dude. It's so bad.
I'm just like, I can't help but laugh.
That new thing is hot. So hot, Sam. Oh.
God.
I mean, hot.
Harry is gonna kill you. So this couple is horrible.
Like my breath.
Yeah, like his breath. Super annoying. Like his breath. And it's funny because it's like, I like how the movie did it where, you know, she just had this traumatic experience, but then it's just funny how like now she's back into like reality and real life, and her sister or friend or cousin or whatever is just like, why do you do this?
Oh yeah.
Sitting there like, girl stabbed herself.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up.
She can't stop thinking about it.
But her sister or friend doesn't know. But maybe that's how you should treat people. Is just not assume that their day's going great. I don't freaking know.
Yeah, I mean, well, you never know what anybody's going through. That's
Right.
why, you're supposed to always be nice to everybody. Don't
And
forget
if
it.
it's her sister, she should be like, maybe something's wrong.
Yeah, just always be nice to people and don't forget to smile at them.
Oh, yeah. So this movie is similar to It Follows, which is a movie we might review. If you haven't seen it, it's, what is it about? It's about people that get chased by something.
Could be it's just like always a person. It's like always a person, but it's a random person. But I think sometimes it could be like someone you might know. Yeah, it is someone you might know sometimes. Because there's an exact copy of this other guy. And yeah.
And it gets transferred.
It gets transferred through intercourse.
Through intercourse.
Which is interesting.
Our last movie.
But yeah. So you always just see this like strange person in the distance, and that's kind of how Smile is.
But it's not with intercourse. It's with, what we later figure out. Well, you figured it out pretty quickly. It's keeping, what is it? Like keeping trauma.
Yeah, just not dealing with your traumas in the correct way, because you learn that Rose has a trauma that she's been holding on to forever, which is kind of, in a way, it's kind of hypocritical, because she's trying to help people with psychological issues who might have also dealt with trauma, but she's not dealing with her own trauma, so.
Well, I'm sure, people say the best therapists are the ones that have, like,
But she might be giving advice, and then maybe she's not, like, following through with her own thing, So basically, these people that you see smiling at you, it's almost just always a reminder that you're just putting on, like, a fake facade to cover up that you're dealing with inner demons, and those inner demons come out as people who are smiling.
Oh, yeah.
I'll try to talk this way so there's no bad breath, boy.
You need a mask. So yeah, Rose is now seeing these people everywhere. The smiles are so unsettling. They give off these clown vibes. A smile is innocent, but so scary in the wrong way. Most people that smile, you're like, oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Literally, if you, the way you smile is like this, and if you keep going, you're like, this guy's insane.
He's crazy.
Look at him. For people listening, I'm smiling really wide. So the man from the beginning, Rose gets the doctors to restrain him, but when they go in, he wasn't smiling. So maybe he wasn't really doing it. The guy, remember the guy in the beginning? The weird guy?
The weird guy?
Mm-hmm.
Which weird guy?
So the guy that was like, everything.
Yes.
She goes in and
he was, well, we think that he was smiling, or maybe Rose is just imagining it.
Because the movie is from Rose's perspective.
Yeah.
That's why movies like Hereditary, it's like none of this could have happened.
Yeah.
Midsummer.
Yeah.
They were on drugs. Remember in Midsummer they just keep giving
drugs? They keep giving him mushroom tea and all this mushroom stuff.
We'll talk about that movie.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. And especially with psychedelics, like I was saying, there are instances where you can go into states of psychosis, and especially if you're in you're already dealing with something traumatic, it heightens that, and then you're really stuck in a bad situation.
That sounds so fun. So yeah, maybe he wasn't really doing it, but
yeah,
the upside down camera shots are prevalent. There's a few of them. Maybe it symbolizes their upside down world that they're going through, where people smiling are not in this world. Happy. Out of touch with reality, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I think the smiling could represent putting on, what we said before,
like a fake facade,
for people when deep down you're not feeling well, and that's that's one of the worst things.
Yeah,
honestly, where even if it's like a friend or something, you're just like, wow, man. Or I wish you would just let me know what's going on.
Well, yeah, that's like the what's the painting you always talk about with the court jester?
It's like some Eastern European language. Stanza something. Stanczy.
Was the court jester crying?
It's like there's a stage in the background, and on the side in the backstage is a jester, like a clown, slumped, and he's crying. And I don't know, it's a really cool painting because it's
it's so dark
that's
too.
Robin Williams.
Yeah,
there.
Yeah.
You can go on stage happy, and then in the background.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is a pretty deep and dark psychological movie where it's it's more than just people are smiling and killing themselves in front of people. There's a lot more to it. So
Rose ends up calling the help on that weird guy. We don't know his name, right?
Right. I don't think so.
All right.
So I wrote down she never answered the phone. She's starting to lose it.
What phone?
Remember she like
Oh yeah.
I forget what part.
Oh yeah, so she gets a phone call, but then it says, I think the phone says like you're next or something.
Something like that, yeah.
And then she like throws the phone on the ground or something like that, and then all of a sudden I guess she snaps back into reality, and she never even had the phone in her hand in the first place. It was still on the dock.
So she's starting to lose it, and now you're starting to lose it with her, and you're just like, oh crap, what the hell's real?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Like we don't know what's going on. So I wrote, I feel like the female lead roles are the strongest because you tend to sympathize way more because they're like innocent. You just wanna hug them.
Yeah.
People say I'm gonna have daughters. I don't know. I just see it. I'm just like, oh man,
You're gonna have a daughter. You and Bailey.
We're having them.
I'm having a son.
Oh, yeah.
I definitely am
want
having a son.
But
I think you're having a daughter.
Hey, that's fine.
Look, you got Emily and Johanna.
Oh yeah.
So I guess
My mom's got 3 sisters.
Well, I guess you got to try. Well, you'd have a boy on the second try, you know?
It could be on the first.
Could be.
Yeah, but girls.
That's not how your family works. I better have a son. Dear God, let me have a son.
Man.
Please.
Pray that you have a son. Crazy jump scare with her mother, who we saw in the beginning. That was a quick. You remember that?
It was a jump scare.
Yeah, it was her mom in the bed. It was like a quick jump scare. I don't know. So there's a jump scare that happens. These types of movies that we watch, probably in the last like 10 years or so are less focused on jump scares. But some movies every now and then.
This one had a decent
amount. Yeah, for sure. So now Rose is seeing a therapist.
And it seems as though she's had this therapist before. Maybe, well, yeah, I think she did have this therapist before, and maybe you could kind of presume it probably had to do with her mother and maybe her divorce, because we find out that the cop was originally her first lover or whatever, and then her ex-boyfriend something, and now she's married to this new guy. So maybe it was a therapist that she's already known or been through, but now, of course, good luck trying to tell her that, I'm seeing smiling people all around.
Right. So now Rose has to talk about what's going on in her life, which is nothing fun to talk about. So yeah, it just comes back to, it's interesting how she had a patient and she was like, you're okay, you're not seeing anything, and it's like, yeah, right. So now she has to talk to.
They give the scientific explanation, like, the lack of sleep and the the blah, 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 and this and that, and you just saw a traumatic experience with your patient killing herself, blah, blah, blah.
It's kind of like,
she's asking for pills, too. She wants her therapist to give her pills. And she's like, well, let's come back to me in a week. And she's like, a week?
A week? I can see a smiling person there, over there, behind the fridge, on the roof. What do you mean?
They everywhere.
They're everywhere.
Goddamn.
Give
me them Zans.
I think that it can symbolize the therapist are a part of the real world, how they are responding, and Rose and the other smiling people are a part of the movie. It's kind of like a breaking the fourth wall in an interesting way. Yeah,
well, yeah, like whenever I've had like anxiety or an anxiety attack or anything, you feel like you're in your own little snow globe, and that's kind of that's what it's kind of like. Like it's just isolating this one person, and everyone around you is just like, are you okay? That makes it worse, honestly.
That's like telling
it's like, what do you mean? Am I not okay? Am I going crazy? Ah!
What's wrong with me? I don't know. What? You don't know. So yeah, then Rose goes to a good old birthday party.
Oh, good old birthday party.
This scene is insane.
Her sister's daughter's birthday party.
So the birthday party, again, smile, birthday party, these types of things are usually positive. So birthday party, usually it goes swiftly, it's positive, it's celebrating another year of life, but it is not that case.
Not that case.
So her sister's
daughter?
No, son.
Really, is it? Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, it's always been a son. It's always been a son. I kept saying daughter. Sorry about that, America.
America and their birthday party.
America the Beautiful.
So there's weird sounds going on during the birthday party, and then what was the cat's name? Mister Mustache.
Mustache. Yeah.
Yeah, got it. So Rose has a cat named Mustache, and
that cat went missing a little while ago.
Mustache, where are you? But Mustache is the least of Rose's problems.
Yeah,
she's smiling people. So her nephews open up some presents. Yay, I got a truck. Yay, I got a car. Yay, I got a Power Ranger. Whoa!
Let's see what Aunt Rose gave me. Oh my God, I'm so excited.
I love Aunt Rose.
Aunt Rose is the best. She gave me an Xbox last year. Let's see what this is.
It's gonna be a PS5.
Oh my God.
This is cool. Nope, it's a cat.
It's a dead cat. It's Mustache. She put the dead body in the damn packaging.
Yeah, so the little kid opens it up, and it's a cat. And it's crazy. This scene is so crazy because it's just like it just continues to happen, and you're sitting at home waiting, like, okay, snap out of it.
Yep.
You know, because like when some people like daydream, and then there's a scene of the daydream, and then it goes back to like I was like hoping it would go back to Rose just sitting on a chair.
Yeah.
I think I said that. I was like, oh, she's dreaming. Nope. The scene keeps going. You're like, holy fuck, it's real.
Yeah.
Oh no. So
and everybody's like staring at her like, oh my God, like what the hell? Which again is kind of like isolating her even more. It's like making her feel so much worse about herself.
And I'm pretty sure that her sister like pulls back the kid, and they're all just looking at her, and everybody's like holding each other, and they're all spread out in the room.
Yep.
And Rose is just like, I think she's in the middle of the room, and I'm like, this is the worst thing ever. And no one helps her when she falls through the glass.
Oh my God.
And throw the Spanish announcer.
Throw the table, not the sound guy. WWE, shout out.
So clearly she's going nuts. It was pretty tough to watch.
I think she also falls through the glass because she's like, why is everyone staring at me? And then she sees someone smiling again in like one of the chairs, and then she gets spooked by it and just.
Oh, you know what's interesting is that like kind of a helpful tactic if you're like having a panic attack or something is to feel grounded. Mm-hmm. So you like touch things around you and literally like feel grounded.
Yeah.
I wonder if when she broke through the glass, she actually felt it and she was like, shit, this is real.
Maybe, yeah.
So that was maybe like, I don't think it was intentional, but maybe when she felt it, like, it definitely didn't help.
Brought her back.
Like, it brought her back to reality. So back to reality.
You could also
felt really sad because she looks worse and worse and worse each scene.
And now she's cut up from the glass.
Cut up. And so then she goes outside of the house, right? And this is when her sister's talking to her, or no? No, I think she just leaves because they're like,
yeah.
That's at another scene.
Yeah. Well, it pans to her in like the I guess in the psych ward again, like and then the doctor, her like boss or whatever. Mm-hmm. Like comes in and he's like, "What the hell happened? Are you okay?" And he's like, "I'm really worried about you."
Oh yeah.
And you could clearly see that
Cal
she's all.
Penn he's from Howard and Kumar. And
yeah,
he's also
yeah.
a Disney Survivor. So he's her boss, and he's like a little sympathetic because he's like, all right, something might be going on clearly, but
you can see the signs. I mean, he's like, oh my God, Rose looks terrible.
Yeah, she's like one of my top therapists.
Yeah. And now all of a sudden she's going down the drain.
So, Rose then goes to like, now she's in like investigative mode. Mm-hmm. So she goes to Mr. Munoz's house, the professor that killed himself, who was the professor of the teenage flannel girl, or maybe not teenage, but of the college flannel girl in the beginning. So now we understand that there's a path of, I guess, people that hold in trauma.
Yep.
And,
Don't deal with it.
They start smiling,
and then they kill themselves.
But they have to do it in front of somebody.
And if they do it in front of somebody, now it gets passed on, kind of like It Follows, sort of.
It Follows. So we're starting to realize that this is a thing attaching itself to people, sort of an entity, a little different than It Follows. Like we said, deals with sex.
Yeah.
This one is trauma, which is interesting too, because it's like, all right, I'm gonna have a similar movie to It Follows. No, I know. I'm a similar movie to It Follows, but I'm going to make it about trauma. The entire time I'm thinking, why the fuck?
If there's a listener, they're gonna be like, "What just happened?" For that 5 seconds.
With that 5 seconds, we had like a little sword fight with the makeshift
bones we got on our
decorations.
table.
Yeah. And I'm thinking like, why the hell isn't anybody being put on medicine or something?
Yeah.
Because like, I'm not gonna say like anything that anybody. I don't know. There should just be something to relax these people.
Sam likes drugs.
Love them. Love them. No, I don't like drugs. But, you know, chugging wine might not do the trick.
Is not a good
No, might not be the best.
Not a good replacement.
So Rose goes and sees her ex-boyfriend, who's a cop. And he interviewed her in the beginning after the college flannel girl killed herself. God.
College flannel girl.
I'm laughing at the flannel girl. We then realize this is a chain of events.
Yep.
And
so there could be a solution. So that kind of makes Rose seem a little happier, you know, at least just a little bit, and maybe springs her into action to try to figure it out, you know?
This is interesting because it's like I said, she's going into like detective mode, whereas other people just like, I don't know, it's hard to have something so traumatic like this happen and be like, all right, let's man up and figure this out.
Mm-hmm.
I read similar books like, what is it? The Maidens.
Marley and Me.
Silent The Maidens and Silent Patient, written by Alex Michaelides. And
was that a book?
yeah, these are real.
No, Marley and Me.
Oh, it was a movie?
I know it's a movie. No, you know what I was thinking of? Winn-Dixie. Winn-Dixie.
Winn-Dixie, what the hell?
Did you read that?
No.
No? My class read that, and then we went to go
What
see the
class?
movie. Like in elementary school, clown school class. Because he was a clown.
Yeah, coffee cake's good.
It is very good.
You want the rest?
No. It might help my breath, though.
His figure.
After I was sick, so I threw up my intestines the whole last week. I was so sick. I probably dropped like 50 pounds or something.
So the Maidens and Silent Patient are similar books where these psychotherapists start to act as detectives. I don't know, it made me think of it. 2 books that I recommend for sure. Yeah, so she starts to figure out tries to figure out what the hell's going on. Then after seeing her ex-boyfriend, Rose comes home and sees her husband and the psychiatrist. So she's like, what the hell? What's going on here?
This is in the car, right?
No. She comes home and sees, remember, the husband brought the psychiatrist over.
Oh, yes, yeah.
Whatever you want to call it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so her current fiance or husband or
right,
whatever.
I think a fiance or something.
Yeah.
It's interesting to put yourself in both shoes, because it's like, from Rose's perspective, you're like, she kind of feels like betrayed, I guess, in a way. But then, like, her husband's like, I'm just trying to help. And the psychiatrist is like, we got to figure this out.
Yeah, we got to figure this out. You can't possibly be seeing smiling people. Like, you're just going crazy.
No way.
There's no shot.
So, yeah, and then I think she leaves. Or maybe tells, like...
I'm pretty sure Rose leaves. Yeah. Rose leaves.
Like, I'm not dealing with this right now.
Mm-hmm.
And so her ex-boyfriend's doing research, and I was like, whew, all right, at least somebody, believes her and is on her side.
Yeah.
But, he probably still loves her.
And that's all you need in that situation, too.
Literally
like
one person.
That's no one, everyone else is kind of acting like, so crazy about it. But
they're like, you're nuts.
Making her feel more isolated, but her ex-boyfriend is like, all right, I'll help you out. I still love you.
Still love you. So when they go see the murderer guy in the prison, so they like start to investigate and figure out, like, it's like a chain of events, like who are the links, who have killed themselves, and then who has done it.
And has the chain ever broken?
Has the chain ever broken? So they go to and see this murderer dude who, instead of killing himself, he killed somebody else. Yeah. And he said that someone has to be killed for it to go away. It needs trauma. And then I was like, you called it.
Yep, I totally called it.
Yeah. So Then we realize that, well, he starts to flip out because she was like,
well, I've been seeing the smiling people. He's like, what? I haven't seen them in years.
Go away from me.
Go away.
Get away. I wonder if something similar to It Follows. Interesting.
What?
Interesting, Mike.
Oh, I got it to get a little taller.
All right.
So I ain't hunched over like the Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Yeah, I know him.
Maybe we'll review that movie, you know?
No. Never in a million years. So the fella in the prison is like, get away from me, lady. I have never seen these people in a long time. Get away. I don't want to see him again. So basically he's just like, he's like, yeah, so this is what you have to do. And then she's like, yeah, I've been seeing some people. What?
What do you mean? What in tarnation? And Rose's ex swiftly gets her out of there because he is really freaking out. He's freaking out like crazy.
And he's a cop, so if he sees anything like remotely wrong, I'm out. See ya. It's a pretty scary concept when the enemy can't be seen.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like this, entity or whatever it is, can be using the people to smile, but the entity is invisible.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this doesn't really necessarily have to do with the movie per se, but I've always said that I think ghosts are way scarier than having to deal with maybe someone coming at me like a murderer or something, because I have a fighting chance. At least I could beat the crap out of them. Whatever this is, like...
You have no idea. You do not know the next move.
No.
Like if you were, we have this like kind of a joke. It's like, would you rather be locked in a room with a grizzly bear or a room with a definite demon in the room? Definite demon. Yeah, we said the bear.
The bear. I'm trying to fight that bear out. I'm trying my best. Poke its eyes.
What about the what were you doing? You were looking on Instagram or whatever. You saw the big ape.
Oh, the gorilla. Yeah. The massive gorilla. I asked you, do you think you'd have a fighting chance for 10 mil or something? Or
you said 10 trillion.
$10 trillion. Would you try to fight this gorilla? And you were like, I mean, I guess. It's like, no!
At least I'd try. Yeah, I'd probably die though. But, well, yeah, that thing will kill you.
Oh, yeah. Dunzo.
But you still say that you have
at least a fighting chance.
A slim fighting chance. So then Rose goes back or I don't know if she goes back home and the therapist is there. And the therapist just like decided to move in. I don't think so. Maybe she like called her over.
Maybe she's having an affair with her husband.
That'd be again, the least of her problems.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so here in our studio, it says create with a smile.
Oh.
And I looked over there. Isn't that weird?
What a coincidence.
What a coinkydink.
Shout out Alex for putting that up. Alex.
Caffeine Academy. So, she's talking to the therapist and everything seems to be going fine. And then all of a sudden the therapist starts to talk in a demonic voice.
Oh, yeah.
Terrible and so scary. So then you're like, great, another scene that isn't real. So the movie is just, you're on the edge of your seat pretty much the whole time.
Doesn't the therapist call the house? I'm pretty sure the therapist calls the house.
Right.
And she's like, and she answers and she's like, looking in front of her, she's like,
wait a minute.
Wait a minute. If you're on the phone and you're here, who am I talking to? What's going on? Who's flickering the lights?
Nosferatu. Face your trauma. That's the theme here.
Face it.
Everybody. Just
face it. You gotta be a knight in shining armor. You go into that cave where the dragon is living, you go in there, at least you gave it a fighting chance. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Did something.
You said that, you called it too. You were like, it or whatever, this thing needs to be alone with no witnesses. So then we see, Rose towards the end of the movie. She drives to her
old house.
Her old house.
Where she used to live, where her biggest traumatic experience of her life has probably has taken place.
And of course, her house is in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
So it just makes it all the more unsettling.
I guess it's abandoned or like, it was weird. It looked like it was in just like a bad random, it almost looked like, the area where, Barbarian took place. Like the house looked just like completely shut down and run down. I don't know. It's kind of weird.
Kind of weird. So yeah,
maybe it got shut down after what we find out happened to the mom.
So Rose goes to the house, and I think her ex-boyfriend calls, and he's like, "Don't go, don't go. I need to be there." And it's just like clearly him being like, I need to be there to protect you. Like, I'm in this with you now. Are we missing anything? Have I skipped over any parts? I don't think so.
Yeah, I mean,
it's
that's
just
pretty,
like pretty straightforward.
it's
Where
pretty
she's
the
just
gist.
like trying to figure out what's going on. She sees these smiling people in the
And
background.
just like, how do we get it to? How do we know how to get it to stop now? We gotta not kill ourselves. We gotta find something else to kill or whatever. And yeah, so that's what we're trying to do. So we go back to where it all started. For Rose, at least, when it comes to her own traumas, going back to her house is a big deal. Because we find out that her mother, I guess, killed herself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So she goes into the house and she's like walking ever so slowly, opens the door, and her mother's there. And she starts to talk with her mom. And then we realize that Rose, at 10 years old, didn't help her mom as she was dying. So Rose, we realized, carried this guilt the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
So the mother was like, "Why didn't you help me?" She was like, "Oh, 10.
Yeah, which...
What am I supposed to do?"
I mean, that's... She got scared. She had no idea what to do. And
there's no father figure.
Yeah.
I mean, they didn't mention it, but it's like, I don't know where he was. So she's got that to deal with, and then her mother. Because in the beginning of the movie, the first shot is her looking at her mom, who's dead. But what we didn't realize now at this scene is that she didn't help her.
Mm-hmm.
So she carried this guilt her whole life. And yeah, and then she starts talking, and then the mom like kind of gets up and starts like following her, and then like Rose is like, pacing backwards, I think. You gonna say something?
No, I was just trying to...
Yeah, I'm trying to like piece it together. And I wrote that the face is horrible. The jump scare was great.
Oh.
Of the mother.
Yeah. I'm picturing the big thing.
Well, that comes later, pretty soon after. So yeah, like the mother starts to like walk towards her, and then the thing starts to get like she starts to get bigger.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Why didn't you help me, Rose?"
Oh
like,
my
her
God.
Voice keeps getting deeper. And like the face is horrible. And then this is like where it starts to get like really like horrifying. This is a horror movie.
Yeah. That face is really creepy, and of course she's like all long arm, long legs, skinny, and just disheveled. Kind of looks like Barbarian again.
Yeah. Or what's that Forest movie?
The Ritual.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's semi-similar to that. I don't know what it is about. I think it's just being taller. Just automatically means like
makes you feel so vulnerable,
lack of power,
Yep.
and you're just like, so we're starting out this fight. You're taller than me, and I'm screwed.
Yeah.
It's like a higher power, if you will. So the thing like starts to attack her, and then Rose eventually sets it on fire. And she's outside looking at the burning building, and you're like, oh, okay, great, the movie is over. Nope, the movie ain't over. But so you think, you're like, oh, great, she ended this thing. It's symbolizing the end of this curse. She burned down the building. She's helping future people. What a real hero. Now, no one's going to smile
Yeah, that's true.
in a bad way. Just kidding. I kind of had a feeling something was going to happen. Did you feel in that moment?
I felt that like
because it would make sense that it would be over, because it's like, okay, she did what she had to do.
Yeah, but I also feel like because trauma kind of still follows you no matter how much like you kind of manage it as opposed to like curing it, because it's gonna always, it makes you who you are, so I kind of did have a little bit of a feeling that maybe it would continue for that sole purpose and reason.
So you think that it's over, but it's not, because she didn't really deal with her trauma. She looks at her mom. The mom's like, "Why don't you save me?" She was like, "I was 10, blah, 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 blah." The mom starts to like slowly chase her, get bigger, turn into this like humanoid weird creature type deal.
Yeah.
And then she never really left the house. She's back in the house now.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And
then don't we see the creature do something like really, like it's like in a 4-point stance kind of, and it's like all like weird.
I think it's like
it does something so strange.
Shot, I think.
Yeah, and it's like by a fire or something, and it's like
it's a side shot of like the figure looking at Rose, and it does something weird, kind of like that. What's that Spanish movie we were watching?
Yeah. It's a Netflix one. I forget the name of it.
But it was like the girl's on the bed, and the thing comes out of the little box, and it turns into like this figure, and just like eats it. So this is the same in this scenario. So I think the boyfriend at the time, at this point in the movie, is outside, right? And he's like,
now he is,
because he drives all the way there because Rose is like, I'm going to face like this trauma. I got to end this thing, and obviously you're like, well. You're thinking he's not going to let up. He's not just going to be like, okay.
Yeah.
Text me later.
Oh my God.
So he goes, his, he cares for her.
Mm-hmm.
His cop instincts, can't let, and just human instincts.
Yeah.
Just like not letting her go and do this, which is interesting too, because she's going to an empty house.
Mm-hmm.
So how in he is in this scenario. You know what I mean? It's like, for him to go there is to...
Like he knows a lot about her? Is that what you're saying?
No, he's acknowledging the fact that this is real.
Okay. Yeah.
Like, I don't think you would go to the house if you know that there's no physical danger.
Yeah. He'd be, because no one else believed her, so they'd be like,
the psychiatrist.
Fine, let her go to the house.
Let her keep being
whatever.
Sane, So then we see the shot of this figure. Basically, Rose is trying to. I think she's trying to kill this. I don't even know. She's probably like, I don't know what to do.
Mm-hmm.
And it consumes her. So it eats her.
Yeah.
In a weird Guillermo del Toro type thing.
Yeah.
And you're just like, ooh, this is kind of like, creature type movie as well. When throughout the movie, it's mostly typical horror jump scares, psychological thriller. Then it turns into creature type movie. Like I said, Guillermo del Toro.
I guess it's just like a psychological thing. It's not necessarily a ghost, right?
No.
Yeah.
Like consuming. So she consumes Rose, eats her up, and then the boyfriend comes in. He's like, Rose. And Rose turns around and she's got a big old smile on her face.
Oh God.
Big old smile. Similar to the beginning when Rose makes the phone call, turns around, and the college flannel girl is smiley face. So yeah, she burns.
Oh, she douses herself in gasoline and
sets
everything on fire. Sets everything ablaze.
Does he get out?
I don't know.
I don't remember. So she sets herself on fire in front of the boyfriend. But now we know that
Cycle continues.
So he sees this, and that's the whole point of the movie. So it's a movie that doesn't have a good ending, a happy ending, but it also symbolizes that trauma never really goes away.
Yeah,
you could deal with it as best you can, but it just keeps continuing, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, everybody goes through it. You can't really run away from it, and you can only manage it. So it's not something you can kill, and I think that's what Rose got wrong, and so that's why it ate her up.
Yeah. So I liked it. It was a pretty good movie.
Yeah, it was good
overall. Definitely recommend it. Smile. I gave it a 7.5 out of 10. Do you remember what you gave?
I gave it a 7.3. I don't like jump scares.
Yeah. Jump scares are, it's fun, like, talking about it now. But at the time, you're just like, all
right, just do it. Just do it. Just get over it.
Nike, just do it.
Nike, just do it.
I gave it a tad higher, 7.5. Just because, a lot of the different camera shots, the music, different sounds, the whole theme I thought was pretty clever. Even though it's kind of similar to It Follows, but I feel like horror movies or works of art are always inspired by something else. Yeah. It's kind of hard to have like a just completely new idea.
Especially
for Ari Aster to come up with.
Yeah, literally.
No one's ever heard of it.
It's hard to come up with anything artistic or, a lot of things that are just brand new. I mean, we've been humans here on planet Earth for, thousands of years already, so every idea has been done, so might as well just take a conglomerate of all the best ones and kind of put it together and make a nice soup out of it,
Soup,
said the monk. You said,
Oh, wow, so funny. So yeah,
the monk.
We already know this, but Smile is an allegory of trauma and mental health. As the creature makes it clear this is by ScreenRant.com. As the creature makes it clear to Rose during the Smile ending, she's a prisoner of her own mind. That's shown throughout the film as she gradually loses her grip on reality, and those close to her attempt to distance themselves from her. Some friends.
It's terrible.
Like, that's awful, and it's just like, it's so funny how they had, the ex-boyfriend come to the rescue.
Yeah.
It's like...
Her main husband or fiance, too, was like, Rose, I don't know what's going on with you. You're just acting crazy. Like, if that was my significant other...
Smart, motherfucker.
Yeah, if that was my significant other, I'd be like, okay, let's really, figure this out. We gotta figure this out. I really care about you. We're married.
100%. Does, the ex-boyfriend ever see a smiling person?
He sees it on the camera. There's camera footage or security footage, and he sees a smiling person on the security footage. Because they went back on the police reports, and there was footage of someone actually killing themselves, and they pause it on his face, and he's smiling, and that was the first time he was like, "Whoa, okay, maybe there is something going on here."
Yeah, 100%.
So he doesn't see one himself per se, but he sees the evidence.
It's enough
of it, yeah, to be like, okay, Rose isn't crazy. So let's figure this out.
So looking online here, there are pretty similar themes to what we diagnosed ourselves. The theme of trauma, but it also just talks about the atmosphere. Like I said, a birthday party just becomes incredibly unsettling, and then an innocent old house turns into wild stuff.
Wild stuff.
Yeah.
The realm of this creature.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. How does It Follow ends? I feel like
the
spoiler.
The main girl and the main boy, who are best friends, sleep with each other, or we presume that they sleep with each other so that he can get it away from her.
Right.
And then they're holding hands, and then however they kill it in the pool. They lure it into the pool, and then they put all the electronics in the pool so it gets electrocuted. And then they eventually, the two main characters who are best friends, we presume had sex maybe, and then they're just holding hands walking, and then you see someone in the distance walking behind them. So you can't really tell, did they break it or did they not break it?
Yeah. So you're a fan, and I would agree too that movies that don't really have a great ending are unsettling, and it sucks, but those make good movies.
Yeah, the ones with the open endings. Yeah, where it's just oh shit, because in reality we have no control over what really happens. We try to make the most of it.
Marvel does apparently.
yeah.
Single freaking. I stopped watching after Endgame. I'm all right, I'm done with these. It's how many of these classic good beats evil can you make?
Yeah.
But that's blockbuster movies for
you. Good guys always win.
Yeah.
There's nothing
Not
different.
in these movies, that's for sure.
Yeah, you never know what you're getting.
It deals with a lot of different themes, a lot of sex in a lot of these movies.
Yeah.
But that's like I said in my film classes, we would talk about Freud and these different types of. Dracula. Hello. The whole thing's about sex.
Very sexy.
Oh yeah.
Bite my neck.
Dracula.
Bite my neck.
Do you have any other themes you want to talk about? Any other things part of the movie that you liked about this film?
Feel bad for Mustache. Rest in peace, Mustache.
Cats have 9 lives.
That's true.
I don't know about Mustache. A year and a half. We don't know how old Mustache was.
Damn Mustache.
Yeah.
That
Mustachio. Part, that was definitely the part of the movie where it just went downhill.
Yeah.
Of course, the college flannel girl. That part.
College flannel girl.
College flannel girl.
Here she is.
Hey. Similar flannel color, I think.
I think she was yellow and black, but it was same pattern for sure.
I don't really. That part was obviously horrific and traumatizing, but like I said, this fun, happy birthday atmosphere turns pretty horrific.
Bro, I hate the husband too. The husband's just such a dick.
Hers?
Yeah.
Rose's
husband.
Was terrible. Yeah, I can't really remember him. But
because he seems like such a well put together husband in the beginning. You know, like kind of
Yeah,
like, oh, you know, oh, you had a bad day. Let me massage you. You know, blah 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 blah. And like, oh, I'm here, and you know, I got my job. Look at this beautiful house we got. But then when it all comes down to helping her emotionally and stuff, he's like, I don't know what's happening. I'm out of here.
well, that's probably why she didn't tell him the whole thing in the beginning,
Maybe, yeah.
because he would have been like, "You're crazy. I'm out of here."
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's pretty sad. But ex-boyfriend comes to the rescue. So yeah, good for him. Yeah, the husband was pretty terrible. The sister wasn't great either.
Oh,
She
yeah,
was just like, "You've been crazy since mom died."
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna keep separating myself from you, and I'm gonna live with my husband and in Jersey, and we're gonna have fun and live a normal life while you kill yourself. So yeah, that was yeah. So the other one was the ex-boyfriend, psychiatrist. I mean, they're in the same field,
Yeah.
and she's turns out to be one of the worst characters. Not the
Definitely.
worst character, but she wasn't great.
You smell good. You smell like your basement.
You don't smell good. That's for show.
All right.
Okay, guys.
Is that it?
That's it. Yeah.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah. So that was
No quarter.
summation shout out. I also want to shout out our fans, the people that have watched and listened to our podcast. We thank you. What are you scared or something? We're gonna come out with loads and loads of more movie reviews.
So many loads.
So many loads. Maybe we could do a book review or two. That just that requires us to read. I mean, I read and listen to
You're
books.
a good reader.
Yeah, I'm all right.
I'm
Audiobooks are good.
Yeah, I'm getting there.
We'll get there. So we'll review something good, something scary, and maybe a ghost tour in the future or something.
Yeah, or at least a podcast, maybe outside of a haunted house of some sort or something.
That would be cool.
Like we just got a table, houses in the background. It's creepy.
It's creepy. Stay tuned for podcast guests. We're definitely get some people on that we know, possible people that we don't know, that share our love of horror. So this is episode 4, Smile Review. What are you scared or something?
WAYSOS.
Thanks for watching and thanks for listening.
Have a good night, San Diego.